see it from the side. Oh, yeah, we're
Yes,
live.
yes, yes. You are so wrong, Mister.
Hey,
Mister.
you were the one talking about going fishing in the wrong pond. That's all I'll say. All right.
Hey. Yeah, yeah. That is wrong. I thought what goes on in the green room.
I didn't say anything come out of the green room. Every time I think about your part of the world, I'm always reminded of the Newhart show. You remember where I'm
Yes,
sorry,
I knew
I'm
Bob
got
Newhart.
comments
Yeah.
column thing open here.
Why does that remind you of the Newhart show?
Well, he was in Vermont, I think. Their inn was in Vermont,
Oh,
and,
I
and the
forgot about
characters
that.
were.
Yeah.
Isn't it like New Hampshire and Vermont, or
Right,
vice
but
versa?
they have this thing about that, the two of them. Oh,
Hey,
Penny's
Penny and
on,
Diane.
Diane's on. Yeah. New Hampshire and Vermont like say stuff about each other, crap about each other being hillbillies. It's like, oh, look at them hillbillies over in Vermont, and they're looking at us going, look at them hillbillies over in New Hampshire. So it's like
Hey,
hillbilly heaven up here.
I lean into my redneck. I am a redneck. I'm good
Literally.
with it. I have family I love. We're all rednecks. I got friends that I love that we're all rednecks. I am perfectly happy being a redneck.
Yeah, yeah, me not.
By the way, everybody that's tuning in, I am traveling. I'm in a hotel. It's not my normal setup. So if this all messes up, it's Lisa's fault.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, you know what's your fault is the whole gas can story. Yeah, you and your videos.
Well, yeah, I think what you did yesterday, was it yesterday? It
Yes.
totally illustrates the point that we made in the book. So I think it's a good thing. Someone is saying, hello, Lisa and Jeff, but it says Facebook user. I have no idea who you are. Type your name in so we can say hello back.
Yeah, sometimes you have to put your name in, everybody. Oh, well, there's Peg.
Hey, Peg.
Peg, how you
Peg was
doing?
our star today in the Go Giver, the Faces of the Go Giver. No,
Yes,
no,
yes,
no.
yes.
Donna was the star today. Peg was the last star. I'm so
I
confused
Yes, you are, aren't you, though?
because we have such good coffee here.
I
Texas
yeah,
has really good coffee.
that's what you need, some more coffee. Yeah, I
Mhm.
called and talked to Peg today, telling her my big news.
About the show you've been invited on.
Yes, I think I can say because I booked it.
Yeah.
I've been asked to do one of it's called the Promptings podcast, I believe, with Cody Bateman. They sent out
Yeah.
Card's CEO,
Yeah.
and I'm the
That's
guest.
huge, Lisa. That's huge.
Oh, I'm beside myself. Yeah, I am beside myself.
Is that why I'm
Peg's
saying double? No, I'm kidding. I'm not saying double.
yeah, that's double trouble right there. Double
Hi,
trouble.
June.
Yeah. So let me tell you what happened with the gas can, because
Tell me, tell me, tell me.
this is part your fault somehow, I think.
Most
So
most things I have been told are.
well, yeah, okay. So
That at least stays in the green room for sure. So.
so Alex, I'm glad he's not listening because he swears he didn't let the car run out of gas.
Of course not.
When you're 17, you always do that. But it could have been, I suppose, some other kid siphoning. But anyway, so he calls me. We're on our way to the dentist, and we were in separate cars because
Evaporation.
he's right. We were in separate cars because he's a grown man and he doesn't want his mommy driving him to the dentist.
True.
So he calls me and he says, I'm at Kevin's, the guy that works on our car's lot. He said, I'm out of gas. And I said, how'd that happen? Because he's got it right. So anyway, I said, stay
Why
right
do
there.
you ask questions you know the answer
I
to?
know that was wrong. So I picked him up. We went and did the teeth, but I thought, instead of AAA and having to sit there for 2 hours, it's just gas. I'm a grown woman. I can put gas in a car. So we stopped at Target to buy a gas can. We had to go to two different places because they didn't have them. Target only had one, and I bought it. Didn't look it over because how complicated can a gas can be? So we went and put gas in it, and I didn't. It's only a 2-gallon one, so you had to keep doing this, and then I still got it all over because it come out. So I
Uh-huh.
had gas all over me, all over the dog, all over the steering wheel. Oh my gosh.
You heard it here first, folks. Your host just told you she had gas. I'm just saying. So.
You're wrong.
I really am.
Okay,
You can ask
so
anybody.
I get my little 2 gallons of gas. We go back to the car. We're in Kevin's parking lot. And so by then it's dark.
Right.
I put the van so I can see what I'm doing by the headlights. and I'm already swearing, let's face it. I'm swearing already like a Marine. So I go up, right? I take the
I am
spout.
totally shocked. I am.
I'm sure you are. I take the spout out. It's got a thing on it, like I don't know, a safety thing on it.
Right.
And I'm like, I tried everything. I thought and I couldn't get the gas from the gas can into the tank. So we're doing all the stuff. So the kid says, why don't you, I'll search on YouTube. What's the name of the thing? Like in the book, right?
Right.
So he does that. And guess what the video comes up and says? Throw the one away, throw the spout
Throw what you bought
away
away.
that came with it. It's useless, and put a different one on there. Well, that doesn't help me on the side of the road in the dark. So all that did was ramp up my level of swearing. And I was swearing so hard that
That is hard for me to believe.
I'm sure it is. I was swearing so much that somebody stopped and helped us, which, I was so mad. It only would have been all right if his name was Dalton or something.
That's what I was about to say. Was his name by any chance Dalton?
Dalton, right. But he came over and he said, I can see you're having problems. Can I help you? And I said, it was the swearing, wasn't it? And he said, and then it's funny because whenever I talk to someone new, you see that moment when they glance at your hair.
Mhm.
You're going to find out here eventually. But you see that moment
hope
when they
so.
glance at your hair and try to calculate how crazy you might be. But he was nice enough to teach me you had to push the thing in and push it back in the can to get it to come out the can. I don't know.
Very
He
confusing.
showed me, so anyway, we did it and got out of there, but that
Did
was
you
a
tell
good.
him to buy, said the lady with the blue hair, so he will understand the significance of what he did?
No, but I shook his hand.
That's good.
I did use the tap card with my hygienist and the receptionist at the dentist.
I was at a restaurant the other day, and I was telling the waitress about the book, and I said, and I did the tap card, and she went online and said, buy it. I said, if you don't like it, which I know she'll love it, if you don't like it, I'll give you a $20 tip next time I'm in here.
Oh,
It's like a
well,
money
that's
back
nice.
guarantee.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If I can remember her name.
I bet you say that to all the girls.
But-
I can remember your name.
Put me in Liz's section. It was actually a waitress named Liz at a place called the Bottle Cap Grill.
Peg said, did you get his address so you can send him a card about the book? No, but I should send him a thank you card. That's a good point. I bet Kevin will know it because I sent Kevin brownies when he saved me earlier from having to take the wrap off the van. Kevin's my buddy now that my cars are older.
Very cool.
Yes, indeedy. Peg's always full of good suggestions.
Yeah, Peg had a great Faces Of thing, I thought.
Oh,
really
I
did.
thought so too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Donna's today was awesome too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
I like that whole thing. Go ahead.
We have some good friends. We hang out in good circles. What's up with that? How did they let us in?
I don't know.
Too late now.
I want us all to get together, not just for so we can hang around and do stuff.
We need to all go to one of Bob and Kathy's things in Jupiter at the same time, and we'll just turn it into a party.
Yeah, I'll teach you how to skip classes because I do that professionally.
I do not skip classes when I go. I don't.
I'm shocked and stunned by that. I bet
You are. I was
your
shocked and stunned by your swearing. I get it. I totally understand.
you have the class schedule when you go to a convention on a spreadsheet, or do you?
No, I don't put it on a spreadsheet, but I do have it on my phone, so I know. Okay, I need to be here this time.
I'm sure you do. I intentionally ignore the schedule.
Yep. I'll tell you another kid's story about me because you were asking if I would recall one tonight, and what you just said reminds me of it. I was one of these kids in school. School was easy, somewhat for me. I could make A's, and it was I studied when I needed to, but I didn't have to study a lot.
I can see that about you. You're a smart man.
Well, I'm a smart. Oh, never mind. Rear end. That's like in the book. A smart Alan. You guys are going to love the audiobook, by the way. We're 80% through. Peg, I am so sorry I didn't have it ready for your birthday. It was my goal, but I do believe I'll have it finished within the week and maybe uploaded the following week. So,
It's
but anyway,
good too, really good.
but in the 8th grade, I really got tired because, small town, North Georgia, good student. You would get teased as a guy, you would get teased about that.
Oh.
And it was, teacher's pet, this and that. I had a 6th grade teacher, true story. His name was Mr. Pierce. Great guy. I think he taught history anyway, but he was my homeroom teacher. And somehow, I forget what it was, but the students were razzing me and they said, "You're the teacher's pet. Mr. Pierce never disciplined you or whatever." So all of a sudden, Mr. Pierce says, "All right, Jeff, out in the hall." And he grabs his paddle, because back then teachers paddled. We go out in the hall and he takes his paddle and he lifts up his foot and he smacks his foot with it like 3 or 4 times. Bam, bam, bam. And he says, "Now go back in there." So I go back in there. I'm laughing so hard. I put my head down on the desk because I'm laughing so hard. I'm literally in tears from laughing. And everybody in the class thought, "Oh my God, we got him killed."
Oh, that was brilliant on the teacher's part too, though.
It was hilarious. But in the 8th grade, I got sick of being called egghead or whatever the heck, And so 6 weeks in math class, I intentionally failed.
Oh.
I got the only F I've ever got in my life. I got home with that, and my mother was unhappy.
Oh, my mother would have been unhinged.
That's pretty much what happened to me. And I told her, I said, "I did it on purpose." And she said she didn't believe me.
That wouldn't have flown at my house either.
Yeah. So the next 6 weeks, my average in math was 100. I didn't miss a point. And I said, when I got that new card, I stuck it under her bedroom door and said, "See?" A little bit of a smart aleck at times.
You think?
I'll leave it at that and not really go too much further in there, okay? So,
I'm not sure I'd have dared to do that to start with.
You wouldn't do it now. Your mother still has your number.
Well, that's true. Didn't I tell you, she every year on what is it, teacher night? She would drag me up there. I mean, by the scruff, drag me right up there. And she would, in front of everybody, every year, even when I was older. And she'd say, "I just want you to know, if you've got trouble with her, you come to me. You won't have trouble after that." I was like, "Oh, yeah, thanks."
One thing I give my mother credit for that she did one time that I was really surprised by this. We had a substitute teacher one time, and I'm not going to mention any names because that would just be totally disrespectful. But apparently, I don't remember what grade I was in. I said the word darn or dang or something like that. And in her mind, that was the same as saying damn. And so it was a cuss word to her. There's a kid saying a cuss word. She slapped me in the face.
The teacher?
I told my mother about it when I got home the next day. She was at the principal's office and "I was."
Oh, no.
It's a true story. She read the principal a new set of rules.
Well, that was good.
That's the best I can say about it. But it was she leaped to my defense. I have to give her credit for that.
Wow. Yeah. No, I'm not sure that would happen with me, but but I know I dropped out of high school because
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot. I got married in February of my senior year, dropped out, moved to Guam. They wanted me to transfer over there. Yeah, and then I'm a wife going to high school. Thank you. At 18 now, thank you. So I took the SAT. And I bet you were doing what I did, though, because I was good enough in school that I would take the test first. And then if I failed it, I'd go back and study.
Back and study at that point.
Right. So I passed the SAT without studying for it. But
college was a big eye opener for me because I had never really had to study that hard in high school or elementary school. Got in college in my first semester, my first test, I failed in biology, and I had studied. And I thought, "Oh, Jeffrey's in the big pond now."
Yeah, that was the same. Yeah, I didn't go to. I went to just a business school, but still, it was different. It wasn't as easy.
All right, let's get some real stuff, and then we'll surprise them toward the end. So.
Okay, what would you like to do first for real stuff?
You want to do do the teaching thing, maybe?
Yes. What we want to talk about is in the consistency rule, because we're done with the rules. And we're talking about the things that you worked in of your teachings in the book. And we're talking about the consistency rule. And you added a section on controlling what you can control.
Right.
So tell me what you meant by that.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the most fun things about this book to me was when we would work with the rules that you had. We narrowed it down to the 7 rules, and then I would work it into a story. Now, I didn't necessarily work the mini skirt rule into the story, other than saying when Kai says, "How am I going to teach Derek the mini skirt?" But by the way, Derek is actually the name of my brother. Someone was asking me recently how many names I use. He was the name of my brother. But I love taking what you did, what your rules are, and then kind of working them into the story. And I did that with the consistency rule and Isabel's coaching Kai. But after that, I started talking about things that I used to teach to the salespeople that I trained about controlling what you can't control. You can't control if someone says yes or no. You really don't have any control of that, but you do have control over asking enough people so you can find people that will say yes. And then the better you are at setting that process up, the more will say yes. And the same thing, you can't control how many people will want to join your team, but you can be consistent about how many people you ask to join your team. But I went into a section, there was something I used to teach, and I don't think this will show up on the screen. And if it does, I think it will be backwards. But I'm going to put this up here and say, let's see. Yeah, it's right. Okay.
That's frontwards.
There is something I used to teach in school. It was basically, it's a formula for success, and it's why plus how over a positive mental attitude, multiply action equals financial success.
Hold it up there for a minute, and everybody hit your screenshot button.
All right, hang on here. Hang on.
There you go. Hit your screenshot.
I got to fold my notes up. I have no idea what I've got written under there. There's no telling what I have. So, hang on here.
Yeah. There you go.
Let me get my fingers out of the way.
Oh, let me put you on whole screen for a second, so everybody can see. Oh no, that didn't work. That didn't work.
I think.
Yeah, they can see that.
Right there,
okay.
Right there.
You can put it in the group too if you want, or Horace, of course.
Why plus how over a positive mental attitude times action equals success. What I used to teach was there's a formula that will determine how successful you are, if you're successful in sales or really anything. And the first part is that you have to find your why. Yeah. Teresa said, "Oh, I came on math night."
Oh, you and Teresa have so much in common. She is a spreadsheet gal all day long.
We may be brother and sister from another mister. I'm just saying. All right, but first off, you have to have a why. You have to figure out what's going to motivate you, because you have to be in charge of your own motivation. Do not wait on someone else to motivate you. So you have to figure out what your why is. For me, it was my daughters. You know, it's the hugest feeling I own. All right, I'll just leave it at that. Hugest is the new word, I think. It's the most.
It could be the word of the week if you want.
Well,
hugest. Although
I'm a writer, I can make this stuff up.
Although hugest, I don't know. I'm having a smutty thought over that. So.
Stop that. All right, but I'll have to tell you a joke. Remind me to tell you the joke about the 3 priests at the airport at some point, not on a live show like this. But,
I'll tell you later, Teresa.
But it's why. Well, you got to find your why. You got to have what motivates you. In the story, Belle coaches Kai about that's most likely for her going to be the life she wants with Michaela, her daughter. Perfect example. But it's why plus how. So I use it as control the things you can control. You can control your own motivation. You can find out why you get motivated, and you can keep that in front of you all the time. The next part was how. You can control your skill set. You literally can get good at what you do. You're not going to get good at it if you don't practice it. So whatever you're doing out there, practice it, get good at it. You can control that. You can control learning to do the right things, say the right things, work with your upline, work with your sales leaders. You have control over that. So control that skill set. Then over a positive mental attitude. And I'm tempted to tell you something. I misspoke in front of a group one time.
But anyway, you've got to tell us. Come on.
It may be too much for the crowd. I'm just saying.
It's not too much for me.
No. Yeah, but it might be too much for me. All right.
Oh,
but I said that. Okay, I'll tell you. First off, the quote that I used in front of training schools all over the world, over the world, all over Texas, which is kind of like Thornton. I'm kidding. But and I've said it from stage and when I was speaking at places, it is the quote is, how important your positive mental attitude is and why it's important to read books and listen to podcasts and things that will constantly build your self-image, will constantly build your skill set, will constantly build make you a better person. And my quote that I would always use is, a positive mental attitude will not guarantee your success, but a negative attitude will almost certainly guarantee your failure. And I was speaking in front of a group and I missaid that. And I don't know if I can say it in front of this group. Okay, I'm going to say it. Will you please, hey, if you've got kids, do this to their ears, all right? Because I do not want your children to hear this. I have a
well,
problem.
They've heard way worse from me. Come on now.
I'm speaking in front of a group, and I said, a positive mental attitude will not guarantee your success, but a negative attitude will almost certainly guarantee your failure. I truly did. And they start cracking up. I'm going, wait, that wasn't a funny line. And someone said, here's what you said. I went, oh, no.
No. On a more interesting note here, Teresa and I are going, he had that much problem over the word turd?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. It's gross. Anyway, and so that was one of my more embarrassing moments. But anyway, so it's why plus the how. Figure out why you're motivated. Figure out how to do what you're doing. Get good at those things, and then work on your attitude. Have an attitude that says, I can succeed at this. I can make this work. I can do that, and work on that. But then the final factor is always going to be your action. It's whatever you do is multiply by action is going to equal your results. And if your action is that you're still laughing about that comment. I cannot teach the class.
Okay, no, see what me and Teresa are both laughing together because you were actually like on the candidate
Teresa just wrote, he said turd, LOL, LOL.
No, you were on the candidate list for being invited to the mastermind that we have every once in a while with all the friends.
That can't be good.
But I mean, we like what happened. Oh, Teresa, the famous one was when Bibb and Mullins were out doing fireworks, and of course that's a bad idea because Bibb is blind, and that he almost got a firework right up his.
Fireworks is one of the reasons I have tinnitus.
Oh no, that's not good. So, but anyway, but you have to be able to say a lot worse than turd.
Can I hold up signs like if I'm in that mastermind and I don't want to say it, can I just hold up a sign with a word here and a word there?
Sure.
I can write.
Well, I'll tell you, poor Teresa's husband, we call him Grumpy. We have nicknames for all of them, so you're in for that. But
that's one of the seven dwarfs, Grumpy. And I know which seven dwarf I would be, and he's not named in the book.
I gotta guess.
Don't you dare.
Okay.
Teresa just wrote, we had a swear jar. I would need a swear wheelbarrow.
Poor Grumpy. He had, let's see, enjoyed some beverages. And when he went to lay down for a nap when we were all at the kitchen table, he kind of missed the cot. And when he went down,
did he say darn?
Instead of us helping him, we all grabbed our cameras.
I'm sorry. That probably blew the speakers out on everybody's computer just then.
It was wrong. And then later on, we had him propped up like Weekend at Bernie's taking his pictures.
Okay. All right. I got to finish this. I got to finish the teaching part. Then we'll play some more.
Yes.
But it's why plus how over a positive mental attitude, but then multiply by action is going to equal your success. Because I have seen a lot of people who they had a why, they had someone they loved, they had something that meant something to them that would motivate them. They understood how they could give you a seminar on how to do what we were supposed to do, and they had a good attitude, but they would never go out and make the calls. They would never go out and make the activity happen. So their action level was so low, their income was low.
Oh, so that's why action is so important.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And the way that I think we've got Bell coaching Kai in the book is if you've got a why, if you work hard at really getting good at your skill set, so you've got this down about how you do it, and you've got a positive mental attitude, and then you have a high level of action or activity, you can't help but succeed. You just can't help it. As your skill set grows, you'll succeed even more, but you really can't help but succeed if you get those parts right.
And you have to take action, even if it's not perfect action or the way it should be action. Yeah, because that's like
Exactly.
the book, and you really made me think about that different when I showed you my first book, the spiral bound and everything, and
Mhm.
I was embarrassed to tell you about it even, and then you're like, "You at least did it."
Yeah, yeah.
So, I looked at it a different way after you talked to me about that, thank you.
Well, the thing I used to also say is then once you get these down, then get out there and go to work because even God can't steer a parked car. Get off your and go to work.
Hey, before we forget, that last week we said we'd pick up the part about you
The,
said there was a day that turned
right.
around, and I've been dying all week, and I didn't ask you on the
Th-
side
There
because I
may not
wanna
be
hear
enough time to tell the story.
it. You can't say that! I want I
Okay.
waited a week without asking you on the
Right.
side.
I had left the uniform industry that I was in, and I had started with Aflac, but I really wasn't getting a handle on things yet. And we had been living in a middle class neighborhood that was cul-de-sac on there. When I was writing in the story about the kids riding their bikes in the cul-de-sac, I was remembering what that life was, and uh, I was going under financially. And we had a great landlord. He was an awesome person. He was very kind and considerate to me, but eventually I just needed to make a change. And so we moved into a mobile home, and I'm literally almost exaggerating when I call it a mobile home because there were parts where the floor was falling out, the appliances was rusted. Uh, my girls had gone from having their own bedrooms to sharing a room, and when I would walk between their beds at night to kiss them goodnight, the twin beds, my legs would literally touch both
Oh,
beds when I go in to kiss them goodnight. And during this time, we had the landlord had said we could leave some stuff in the garage of the house that we were in, and the real estate agent who was trying to sell the house would let us know when they sold so that we could get our stuff out. And the house was sold, and the real estate agent was not able to get in touch with us, and so everything we had in that garage was given away to charity.
wow.
And most of it wasn't a big deal; it was clothes and some furniture, but
The bikes.
both of my daughter's bicycles were in there, and they were given
Oh,
away. And uh, the day that things changed for me is when I had to tell my daughters that their bicycles were given away. And my girls were never spoiled. They're great kids. They're great adults now. But kids are kids. And when they said, well, "Can we get another one?" and I had to say, "No, we can't do that yet." And they did what kids do. They cried and they weren't happy with that. And I went out on the front porch of that mobile home that day, and it was raining, and it was a cool day. I don't really remember the month, to be honest with you. Uh, Probably around November, December, I
well, you're
guess.
gonna make me cry. What the hell, man?
I've unleashed your emotions. We've talked about that, but
Cut it
the
out. Oh
but
god.
I went out on the front porch and I was out there 45 minutes at least because
Oh
they had
god.
stopped crying, but I had not stopped crying. I was out on that front porch and I was depressed. I was angry at myself for
Oh,
letting me get in this situation because I felt defeated. I felt like a failure. And that would have been sad if that's where the story ended, but it didn't. And I finally said, no more. And I got my head out of my rear end and I started doing the work that I needed to do. And fast forward like 6 months later, probably no more than that. I'll tell you, one of my favorite days was taking my daughters into Walmart and running them around the store and playing with them and saying, "Hey," and then finally getting back where the bicycles were. Saying, "Hey, look at all those bicycles! Isn't that cool?" And then in the middle of Walmart, I gave my daughters a hug and a kiss. I said, "Guess what? You can have whatever bicycle you want to here today."
oh.
And that was a turning point for me. And as I've spoken on stage over the last 8 years, well, really more than that because I was speaking before that, I would tell that story. That it's true. It's how I found my why, and I will I will always remember that. God's been good to me. The career went great. My Aflac career took off, and I was 20 years in management. And I think that year or the next year, I made six figures for the first time, and that I haven't made below six figures in 20 something years now. And so, uh, and if the book does well, it'll get better. So, but anyway, but it's just you need to find your why. You need to draw a line and say, there's a lot of you out there right now that whether you're with Avon or some other direct sales organization or insurance, like with Aflac, like I was, it's time to draw the line in the sand and say, you know what? I'm going to have the biggest career I want. make sure it's something that aligns with your values. Make it you, but don't ever sell that short, because once your heart's in it, I would carry pictures of my daughters around with me in this. I'm old, but in my daytimer. And every time I go in to make a call, it didn't matter if that person ate my lunch, and I was able to play with people, so not very many did. 2% did. We talked about that rule last week. But I would look at the pictures of my girls, because that's who I was working for. I wasn't working for me.
Do you think that you would have done as well as you've done if you hadn't gone through that? Because I personally don't think I would have. I think the trailer park did me good. I think I might have been mediocre going along if I wasn't suffering down there, but that was just so freaking horrible. I was determined to have the opposite of that.
I always say, I don't know that the good Lord had to humble me as much as he did, but he did a damn fine job. But yeah, I didn't move out of that mobile home. We moved out when I was making significantly above $100,000 a year, because I was never going to get in that situation again.
Yeah, I stayed down there way longer.
Hey, go ahead. We're almost out of time, and I promised you I would sing another song. Lisa loved the singing last week.
I don't want to sing anymore. I want to hear some singing.
I am not a good singer.
You are too. Cut it out.
But one of my favorite Christmas songs is Ray Stevens. And you know, Ray Stevens does a lot of farcical songs. For those of you that are young,
farcical?
Ray Stevens was a singer a long time ago. He's still alive, I think, but he's probably older than dirt.
He said The Streak.
Yeah, he did The Streak. He also did Everything is Beautiful, which is a really great song.
Oh, that is good.
But anyway, he had one called Santa Claus is Watching You. So here it is. We're going to close out the show with Santa Claus is Watching You, if I can get it out. I've had a little too much coffee, all right? So oh, baby doll, sweetie pie, sugar plum, honey bun, angel face, you know you better be good. Act like a true fine lover should. Be careful what you say and do, 'cause Santa Claus is watching you. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Okay, that's it.
That first part, I'm making my ringtone this week. I'm telling you that right now.
The baby doll, sweetie pie. I got the lyrics because I knew I wouldn't remember all that.
That was good. You're getting some love over in the comment section. Yay!
You guys are always so kind to my really bad singing. I was a tuba player, which makes me a bad singer. Tuba player and string bass. By the way, if you didn't see it in the group and in my personal feed, a good friend of mine who's actually a band director, a huge band director at TCU, he and I were getting our master's degree together. He's a great guy named Bobby Francis. He's awesome. But he sent me that picture because that's when we were playing in the Dixieland band back in '82.
Well, what's the other thing you said? You worked at a theme park as a Dixieland band?
Yeah. Our friend Harjeet was talking about going on a trip to the Six Flags Park in New Jersey. It's called Six Flags Great Adventure. We played there for 3 weeks. The summer of July, I guess, summer of 1982, right before I went back to Alabama and took my new job.
I wish I knew you then. I bet you were cute in the little outfit and stuff.
Well, we were good at what we did. Oh, we didn't wear outfits. Well, we wore outfit for that picture, and because it was our promo shot. But we had a chance to play on a cruise ship, and we didn't, because I had promised my wife that I would get her back in school, and so I didn't have the 6 months to do the cruise ship gig. I think she and I both wish we had done that, but if it had changed anything else in our life, including not getting the exact children that we have now, I wouldn't do it. It wouldn't be worth it. All right. It's 6:33 here, 7:33 there.
Yes, sirree.
I have to go.
Thank you very much. Okay, everybody.
Everybody out there, we love you guys so much. You cannot imagine. And we talk about this when you're not there. We so appreciate you. And the book's doing well. Please keep sharing it. Please, please, please go review it on Amazon, because we're getting things now where when people go on Amazon, look for certain books, ours is showing up saying, hey, you might like this book, and it's because of your reviews. So please keep
27. That's pretty good compared. Yeah. I mean, it keeps going up a lot. Yay.
Yeah. And by the way, if you review it, I'm going to share your review so you'll get famous. All right. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.